Because now, once we have done with all the other aspects of urology, the most important aspect of urology is finance. Okay, so coming on to the finance aspect of the urological practice, investing while urology practice, may I call upon none other than the guru of Eurofinance, Dr. Ravinder Sabnis sir and Dr. Niramya Pathak to moderate the session.
So this session now we start and very good. Way to कहाँ गया?
Again, I would request all the speakers to please stick to the time. We are running late by almost half hour. Everybody has their flights to catch up, please.
So first talk is by Dr. Pramod Rai. May I invite Dr. Pramod Rai? And he is going to tell us how much do I invest while in practice.
आप सभी उपस्थित जनों का हार्दिक स्वागत। पैसा आ गया, लेकिन कितना पैसा चाहिए, कोई तो अंत होगा। तो क्वेश्चन से राइजेज कि हाउ मच इज टू मच, कितना, कहीं तो रोकेंगे अपने आप को, अंधी दौड़ में चलते जाएंगे। आपको एक कहीं ना कहीं गोल सेट करना है, कितना आपको चाहिए। अपनी रिस्क, कहते हैं ना, पर्सनल फाइनेंस इज मोर पर्सनल देन फाइनेंस। हर आदमी की जरूरतें अलग हैं, रिस्क एपेटाइट अलग है, खर्चे अलग हैं, स्ट्रेस लेने की क्षमता अलग है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ा है कि अपने माइंडसेट को पहले जीत कर फर्स्ट स्टेप है कि स्टार्ट करिए, शुरू तो करिए, 1000 रुपए से शुरू करिए, इन्वेस्ट करिए, ग्रो करिए और उसको बेनिफिट देखिए। बहुत सारे कैलकुलेटर्स अवेलेबल है, ऑनलाइन सर्च करेंगे, टू मेनी कैलकुलेटर्स कि हमको कितना फ्यूचर में पैसा चाहिए। एक सिंपल कैलकुलेटर आपको दिखा रहे हैं। आज के मंथली एक्सपेंस को लीजिए तो 4 लाख हमने लिया फॉर सिंपल क्वेश्चन, तो 2 लाख रुपए पर मंथ अगर आज आप खर्च कर रहे हैं, आपके पास 1 करोड़ का कॉर्पस है, आज के डेट में आपकी एज 50 ईयर्स है, तो क्या रिक्वायरमेंट फ्यूचर में आपकी होगी। टेकिंग इन अकाउंट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन विद 5%, सारे दिए। आप अपने अनुसार कैलकुलेटर ऑनलाइन सर्च करिए, अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट डालिए, अपनी जरूरतें, फ्यूचर में आपने क्या क्या किया है, और एक रफ कैलकुलेशन देखिए कि हम आज के डेट में भी दौड़ में तो नहीं भाग रहे हैं कि ये भी कमा ले, ये भी कर ले, ये भी कर ले। क्योंकि आप सारा चीज छोड़ कर चले जाएंगे तो किस काम का हो पाएगा। ऐसे सिंपल कैलकुलेटर्स है, कैलकुलेटर, उसमें सारी चीजें रखे, एक बच्चे की शादी करनी है, ये करते हैं, सिंपल कैलकुलेटर्स भी है। ये समझने के लिए 2 चार्ट राइट एंड लेफ्ट दिए गए। माइंडसेट में बदलाव से कितना चेंज आता है, सिर्फ ये दिखाना। दोनों साइड 1 लाख से इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, सेम रेट ऑफ रिटर्न है, सेम टेन्योर है, पर डिफरेंस 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा का है। माइंडसेट में क्या बदलाव है कि मेरी अर्निंग हर साल बढ़ रही है, मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट भी हर साल बढ़ना चाहिए, तो ओनली 10% इंक्रीमेंट आपके ह्यूज चेंज लाता है। अपने आप को डिवाइड करें, शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स में रखें, मीडियम टर्म गोल्स में रखें, लॉन्ग टर्म में। सबके लिए अलग अलग प्रिंसिपल है। शॉर्ट में वैसे पैसे रखें जिनकी जरूरत 3 से 5 साल में पढ़नी है, 3 साल में। मिड टर्म में क्या है, बच्चे में एजुकेशन हो गया, शादी हो गई, और लॉन्ग टर्म में जो हमारे अपने प्लान थे उसको पिछाड़ में डिवाइड कर देंगे। उसी अनुसार अपनी प्रोफाइल आप एनालाइज कर सकते हैं। ऑनलाइन बहुत सारे साइट्स अवेलेबल है, आप एग्रेसिव है, कंजर्वेटिव है, उस अनुसार अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी चाहिए। ऑटोमेट करिए सेविंग को, ऐसा नहीं कि जो बच गया वो हम सेव करेंगे। हम सेव करेंगे, थोड़े बहुत खर्चे अप डाउन हो सकते हैं, लेकिन जितना आपको सेव करना है, 50,000 रुपये, 1 लाख रुपये, उतना हर महीने ऑटोमेट कर दिया, सेव होगा। कंसिस्टेंट रहिए, और जितना अर्ली इन्वेस्ट करेंगे उतना आगे रहेंगे। मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस है, स्टॉक्स है, बॉन्ड्स है, रियल एस्टेट, म्यूचुअल फंड, ईटीएफ्स, गोल्ड्स। डिपेंड्स करता है कि आपकी बफर कैपेसिटी कैसी है, कितना स्ट्रेस झेल सकते हैं। अगर आज कुछ स्टॉक्स लिए हो 30% गिर गया तो आप स्ट्रेस कर सकते हैं कि नहीं कि बच्चे उठा के चिल्लाने लगिएगा, उसके अनुसार आपको इन्वेस्ट करना
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening talk. If there are any audience questions, we can have.
We'll take all questions later. Yeah.
I have, you have a slide of short-term you have 57 hours to define our midterm.
Yes. There is a principle called Well and Bucket principle. Well and Bucket says that whatever corpus you are having, divide it into 3 parts. कुएं में पैसा रख दिए, उसको निकाल के एक बाल्टी में रखे, बाल्टी से निकाल के मग में रखे। शॉर्ट टर्म मीन्स वैसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में रखेंगे जिनमें फ्लक्चुएशन मिनिमम होगा, डेप्ट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हो गए, बैंक डिपॉजिट्स हो गए। ये 3 साल में कुछ भी फ्लक्चुएशन है उसमें हमको चेंज नहीं होना है। फिर बाल्टी हमारा है जो थोड़ा ग्रो भी होगा बट फ्लक्चुएशन एवरेज रहेगी, और वेल हमारा जो है उसको छोड़ देंगे हम ग्रो होने के। 3 साल एंड 3 साल में उसको डिवाइड करेंगे। बहुत अच्छा प्रिंसिपल है रिटायरमेंट के लिए, उसको अपन हो सकता है यूरो फाइनेंस 3 में डिस्कस करेंगे। वेल एंड बकेट प्रिंसिपल इज वेरी गुड प्रिंसिपल फॉर रिटायरमेंट प्लानिंग।
Okay, thank you very much. Now we go for the next talk. And secondary source of income. I think we are all looking forward for this because everybody wants a secondary source of income. Urology practice, everybody is fed up. And therefore everybody is attracted for the secondary source of income. So Amit Gaur, you are in demand.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Coming to this topic, this is, I think, for the first time we are having this topic. Now, like P.P. Rao sir was telling that you have to follow your passion. Why exactly do we need a secondary source of income? I was just speaking to Pankaj sir. Pankaj sir is in Mumbai. He spends around from 8 o'clock till around 7 o'clock in the evening. He's in the OT and he's in the hospital. So how do you follow your passion? Now, like, I like to drive a lot. I follow sir a lot. Last year we drove down to London. So we had a tough time parking in central London. So this year, last year we drove down to Mongolia. So my point is, we need to see that our capital works when we are not working. मीटर डाउन नहीं होना चाहिए, मीटर अप होना चाहिए जब आपका अब आप enjoy कर रहे हैं. Like we go for trekking also 15 days you minimum you need for a trek. Wherever you go to Chopta, you go to Gomukh, anywhere. So you need at least 15 days for acclimatization or all those things. So 15 days आपको टेंशन नहीं होनी चाहिए कि भाई पैसा का मीटर चल रहा है. So coming to this point, now we started before COVID because my father, I come from a medical background. My father also is a doctor, so we have 2 setups. So he also works a lot, and I am not of that particular nature. I don't work. I just work 11 to 4 in the hospital. Otherwise, I am busy with all this. So now, what are the criteria to select the secondary source? So it should not affect your primary source. This is one most important point, that your urological practice should not be affected. A minimum need of time and effort in developing the resource. That is what is a criteria. Should be consistent source of income. You should not fall back to urology. Okay, I am not getting a particular amount, I should get back to urology. It should be a consistent source. Should not need much of manpower. HR, like sir said, HR is difficult to manage. So you should have as minimum HR as possible to get the work done. Should not be risky. By risky, I mean that your capital should, at least you should be able to retain your capital. So now this is the most important thing which majority of us do. They buy a flat, buy a commercial property and give it on rent. So it has got pros and cons. Rental income in residential it's a depreciating asset. The flat also needs periodic maintenance. Not a consistent source because still you have your tenants, you'll be getting it. Commercial is anytime better, it is more consistent. Best tenants are banks or coaching institutes. Game zones in malls. I have realized this in the last 3 years. Game zones are the best place to invest in malls because the rotation is the maximum. You keep on upgrading it, and the space gives you pretty good amount as compared to a shop or any other thing. And you need a large capital for that, and that also in white. And tenant issues are quite less as compared to renting. Now, income from trading. This is one thing which we started around 7 to 8 years back, where we make a team of doctors. Now, what exactly happens in this? Like, we have a team of doctors. We register a pharma. We had registered a pharma company. We have a manpower of 2 to 3 people, and one of them is from the pharma. And like, what happens is we get drugs manufactured from a reputed manufacturer. He has got all the licenses, and the drug has to be really very effective. And then you have a group of doctors who prescribe those drugs, and they are provided with incentives. Now, this we started before COVID, and slowly then we went into IV fluids also. And post Ayushman, we are not able to satisfy the demand because majority the hospitals have to buy the products, buy the medicines, because they have to supply to the patients. So directly hospital dealing, and the whole margin of the wholesaler as well as the retailer you can enjoy. And obviously you will have to give some benefits to the hospital also. So you have to be very careful regarding pilferage in this. Pilferage and inventory management are two things which you need to take care. Like last year we got around 25,000 DJ stands. So we got it at a price around from a reputed company. I would not like to name them. Around 40 to 50 rupees for one DJ. So you can easily, your colleagues are with a particular margin, you can give up the profits to them all. And so on. There are umpteen number of drugs which we can discuss here. So this is one thing which if we combine together and then we, have a block deal with the pharmas, then we can work it out. Other trading avenues is like you see, we store a lot of seasonal consumables. Like we get a lot of onions from Nasik, and then we keep on storing them. We store them for around 4 to 5 months. We bought it last January, and then we sold it in May. So you need pretty good team to do all this, and for me it has now become a routine. Now in December we get this, and in April around 20% is easily what you can get. So what you need is proper storage, inventory, and market should be nearby. So seasonal produce is what we do, and you can use your cash also in it. So that is a pretty good way to handle your cash. Income from agriculture is another thing. I request you to develop a small agricultural farm. It's not be a farmhouse like you put a swimming pool or a big house there. Should be a proper farm. It should be only trees and sort of a small place where you can take some rest. Aquaculture is an other thing which we are doing. Use government schemes. Now I will also discuss government schemes in my next presentation, where out regarding hospital capital. Government schemes, there are pretty good government schemes in this particular field. Polyhouse, and even for plants also you get them free. And even you get subsidies of, like, you go for bamboo plantation, you get around 9 rupees subsidy per plant. So slowly you keep on developing a place where you can, go relax, and that will give you good amount of pleasure, because you are eating what you are growing. For instance, the last 3 years we have stopped consumption of wheat. We are only growing ragi, bajra as well as jaw. We are all consuming that. So this is how you de-stress yourself. So do a proper research. Farm activity is very relaxing, and you eat what you grow, so you know what you are eating. So the take-home message is do multiple small businesses. We did a large business around 2 to 3 CR we had spent on it, and didn't materialize. It was around pre-COVID. So that is how I learned that to do small multiple businesses. Trusted team is a must. Team is, and in the team you should have your spouse. She should be interested in all this, otherwise you are not going to go anywhere. India is a land of population. You can sell anything. Have no shame in doing anything. Like doctors, people used to say, "यार तुम दवाई बेचते हो, क्या कर रहे हो, ये कर रहे हो, मेरे पिताजी डॉक्टर हैं, घर वाले सब क्या कर रहे हो." So you should not have any shame in doing anything. You can always create space, margin for yourself, and No, you should keep on searching for opportunities. Like this Mahakumbh, it was a very good opportunity for us. What happened is we came across an advertisement. They wanted accommodation. So there is something known as porta cabins, puff panels. We made around 80 to 90 porta cabins and supplied the mud the at Kumbh. So that was a pretty good venture and we got pretty good margins on that. So and then hospital allied businesses are also there. You can just start GNM or BSc nursing paramedicals. This is how you go ahead and develop a secondary income so that you can follow your passion. Thank you.
Good. Nice, Dr. Amit Gaur.
Sir.
I mean, yeah, but quick because we don't have much time.
Yeah. So in short, what would you advise? Doing small multiple businesses and be focusing on two different businesses, or have one or two or three businesses and focus well on them and progress in those businesses? What is your
I would, from one business, 3 to 4 businesses with a capital around 50 to 60 lakhs that is what you should go ahead with. You should not go because one business makes you risky. It was a lot of risk with your capital. Sir,
So, doing all, how do you think exactly from your age profession?
sir, I have 2 juniors to take care of my center urology activities as well as the peripheral. I have got 2 peripheral centers also, so the other junior takes care of the peripherals.
for farming? You need to be registered as a farmer. So without that, you cannot.
It depends from state to state. In our state, there is no such registration required. So we can buy, yeah, we can buy farmland and we can use it for our
Yeah, so it is state-wise.
state wise.
Maharashtra is manageable, sir. If you
So I think we should stop. We should stop now. Yeah, yeah.
So equity is a separate bucket that should always continue. You can beat even equity with agriculture. Yeah, I tell you this vanilla I had this and moringa. Last week we sold around vanilla for around 8 lakhs. Vanilla sells around 40 to 45,000 per kg. Even moringa, you don't have to do anything. It is a continuous process, and just as you come in the system, you can just
Yeah,
keep on
okay.
reaping profits.
All right. Thank you very much for giving a completely different perspective. But at the same time, don't go with the idea that everything is fine. When you start doing it, whatever you have put money will also go away. So let me tell you with caution that what is appearing here on the lecture is all attractive, but does not mean that in reality it is same. So now we go next for how to manage maintenance costs of instrument and hospital by Kapil Thakur.
Thank you so much, Samir sir, and I thank for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to come back to Nadiad and take part in this program. Now I'll be speaking on investing to manage maintenance cost of instruments and hospitals. So disclaimer is I am a lazy investor, and the matter of fact I have earned my wealth being a lazy investor. So I don't regret being a lazy investor, and don't follow very dedicated plan. But my bias is towards equity, so my topic would be more inclined towards the equity investments. But this opportunity definitely gave me some insights, and as I'm planning for my new setup, it has helped me in my plan also. So all we think is paisa hi paisa hoga when we are just out, we are just passed and we venture. And what is the public's view? They think that we squeeze the money out of them and they are left with nothing. This is the public's view on the hospital, which is not correct. Now there are so many hidden expenses like compliance. We saw yesterday there are so many things apart from when you are running a hospital. There are compliances, certifications, instrument upgradation. Every other month you have some new gadget coming. You have maintenance repair cost of infrastructure and instruments. And this, after running a small hospital for last 20 years, I can tell you, all these costs are bomb. I mean, leakage and seepage, we have spent lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Unfortunately, we are on the top floor, so we have spent so much, and every time they give you assurance is that nothing will happen, so many years warranty, and every year you go and repeat. So it's really a big trouble. Paint, plumbing, every time the floor under you comes and complains there is a leak coming, so you dig up everything and find, and it's a big hassle. Air conditioning you give AMCs, CM, but still you go on spending a lot. Electrical fixtures, there was some fire which caught and we had to change the entire cable from down to, again such expenses come out of nowhere. And lifts, elevators, so everything is costing too much. And you have laser. Now laser, I know people, the engineer, when you call, he comes up, he connects. Sir, Germany connect करना पड़ेगा. मतलब समझ जाएगा. Once he connects to Germany, it means at least 3-4 lakhs. Nothing less than that. वहाँ देखेंगे, they will tell you, they don't replace, they will not repair any parts. So it's cost too much. TM suddenly, out of nowhere, my staff made a wrong connection and the picture tube went off. 2 lakhs. So scopes, damaged scopes, a very small thing, your staff is cleaning, you may get damaged. Camera systems, cautery, vessel sealer, so many things are there. This, I am talking apart from the regular consumables. Blast shields and things you know you are going to, but these things will suddenly come up. And this is what happens. You are not prepared for it. So strategies, I would be talking on these strategies. One is the equipments, what care you should take while buying. Of course, Dr. Ashit Bhai has taken a very good talk on yesterday on this. And then whether to take insurance, AMCs, CMCs, and then finally some investment strategies. So invest in the quality equipment. महंगा रो एक बार, सस्ता बार. And so never compromise in the quality when you buy upfront. And personal experience, I invested in Dragger, that is the best anesthesia trolley. And my partner, despite having more laparoscopy work, he bought another version. And he had so many breakdowns, he had to even postpone surgeries. It's a big hassle. Just to save 2, 3, 4 lakhs. So always invest in good quality equipment upfront. Plus you can have preventive maintenance programs like training and staff education, very important. There are so many workshops and things happening where you can take your staff, you can send them and they learn how to maintain equipment. This goes a long way. It will help reduce the breakdown. Mark your staff and then send them, and you maintain register. So you should have what is the age of your each instrument, your scope. So you know you can predict that when you need a change or maybe an upgrade. Always have good extended warranties and service contracts. So till the time you buy instrument, you are the king. Once you buy, he is the king. So always before you buy, you negotiate well, minimum 3 years. You should know that you are not going to spend a single rupee except the consumables. Find out and freeze the consumable cost after 3 years also, what you are going to pay. And you take a good CMC, you should freeze it roughly 7%, and AMC should be about 3% of the price. And you can have AMC with insurance, or you can have only insurance or CMC. Now coming to the equity part, you estimate your maintenance cost needs first. Then determine your investment amount and the risk tolerance which you have, and choose the appropriate investment equipment instrument. Now estimating the maintenance cost and the time frame when you will require this. So create an equipment inventory which will include each machine's age, warranty status, service history, and expected. This takes some time, but it's worth doing that. And calculate an annual budget for the equipment when you will require that, and you also add 10 to 20% extra on that. So don't end up with some problems. And this will give you a clear target of how much income or the returns you want from your equity investments. Now determine the investment amount and risk tolerance. So once you prepare the list, you know that these instruments are there. I need X amount, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, whatever will be required after 3 years, after 4 years. And then you can allocate the capital. And again, equity investment comes with a risk. So balance that risk tolerance with your timeline. So as you approach closer, you can move into a better things like short-term funds and all. Which investment vehicles are there? You can have dividend-paying stocks. We see Dr. Pramod Rai's message received so many lakhs of rupees as dividend. Now see, this is a motivation that you can invest in such stocks that even your dividends take care of the things, right? So you can invest in those stocks or ETFs. You can have growth stocks. growth stocks will they will offer higher returns, but at the same time it's not very predictable, and nobody wants to sell them off in a loss. And if you don't know anything and just plainly invest in equity mutual funds or index funds and just leave it, they'll go on multiply. Be a lazy investor if you are not very sure. Invest regularly and monitor the portfolio. So set up a SIP. It's not a lump sum. You go on whatever surplus you are having, just go on putting it. Don't let the money be idle in your bank accounts. It's not going to help. Go on investing and see the magic of compounding. And rebalance and monitor performance, ensuring that your portfolio aligns with your maintenance cost needs. You can use the dividends or sell shares if the demand. If dividends aren't enough, you can even sell a portion of the shares. Apart from this, you should have an emergency fund first. Either you can have a liquid fund or arbitrage. Now let me tell you, arbitrage fund is better in terms of taxation. You'll be taxed as long-term equity. So if you hold more than 1 year, you'll be taxed better. So post-tax returns will be better in arbitrage fund. And now something has come up called linked FDs. Now my bank gives me, even in my current account, they give me 6% interest on linked FDs. So if 6%, anyway the amount in current bank is not going to earn you anything. But if it's a linked amount, you get out of it. So sample plan, you estimate how much you want, say 13 to 15 lakhs you want as a maintenance budget annually. How frequently, when you will require it, what is the timeline, after how many years you require, and what is the risk tolerance. So conservative plan, you can start investing, say X amount, 85,000. You can conservatively keep 60 in equity and 40 in debt, and then start switching gradually from equity to debt as the timeline approaches. And then you can withdraw and continue investing with the SIP. If you are a little more aggressive, you can go to 70 or even 80% in equity and 20% in the dividend growth stocks, and 10% you can keep in cash or liquidity. Aggressive transition plan, two slides. Aggressive transition plan is you transit gradually from the equity part to the debt one. I'll just focus on this chart. Now suppose we are investing 80,000 per month SIP. Now the crux is that every year you go on increasing the SIP amount. It should not remain fixed. So 80, it goes on increasing 10%. Just see, at the end of 5 years, you want 15 lakhs withdrawal. Still you are left with 67 lakhs. And if that SIP continues at the end of 8 years, despite spending 15 lakhs each from 5th year, you are still left with 92.3 lakhs corpus. So you can even buy new instruments out of this. You can create a plan of your own. Funds, you can do your own research, but there are plenty of websites available like Value Research online, where you can compare the funds and see the monitor the performance. So don't ignore your recurrent expenses. Abhi time hai sudhar ja. Thank you.
Thank you, Kapil. I think we'll go to the next talk. The tax saving options during practice. Dr. Jignesh Gevaria is from Surat. All finance topics are all by Surat people. They're all involved in finances. Diamond. They are all studded with diamonds. Well, meanwhile, there is going to be a full discussion on the finance thing. We are organizing one more conference, Euro Finance 3, on 27th and 28th of September, and that is in Delhi. It is being organized by Dr. P.P. Singh and Shailendra Goyal. And if all those people who are interested, whatever has been talked, all the questions will be answered in that conference, not today. So you listen to the talk, and if you have any questions, you'll have to come to Delhi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, organizers, for giving me this topic. I was allotted this topic. I asked Abhi sir Why this topic? For starters, you may elect to stay poor or pay taxes. There is no other option. If you don't want to pay tax, don't earn. And if you want to earn, you have to be ready to pay tax. There is no other option. So why save tax? That's the question. In this word, Benjamin Franklin says that there is not only certainty is death from tax. Right. And I believe that, I should be paying all my taxes with smile. I tried, but I wanted only cash or UPI or net bank. So, for this presentation, I have some presumption that new tax regime, is a majority of us would be knowing, is going to be a default one. Government has reduced and adjusted the tax slabs compared to old regime. So they want everyone to shift to new regime and they want to stop the old regime. So most of the urologists, either salaried or either professional or working in a group practice, will be better off with the new regime. And I have assumed that minimum earning for this presentation would be more than 24 lakh per year, thereby attracting highest slab. Average urologist earning starts usually at 35 years. So he or she has a 25, 30 years of active earning phase. Out of that, only 10 years nowadays is peak income. The last generation of like sir and the seniors, the front bearers, had a longer period of peak
उधर
income.
मत उधर बोलो उधर मत
So only 10 years is the time that you get for peak income. And I would say this is the peak time to save and keep your future income. An increase in number of urologists will lead to reduced income. And government wants everyone to spend rather than save. This has been a dramatic shift as the generation changes, government changes. Government wants to increase GST revenue and increase GDP. GDP is for optics, So how it will be accomplished? Only when you spend. You spend on so many things, maybe spend on some unnecessary things. That's how you increase the GST revenue and increase the GDP, the grand American way. Or this is a slide for, just for reference, that this all the old regime and new regime. In old regime, all the PPF and all the NFC, LIC, LSS, everything was getting tax saving. 1 to 1.5 lakh, you used to pay no taxes, no longer in a new regime. Standard deduction has increased from 50 to 75. Previously, many people used to donate to political party and get it back somehow, no longer allowed. Under Section 80G, you could have donated to charitable trust, and it was allowed, not available anymore. Income from house property losses, that also has gone. And you pay the tuition fee, of children, school fee, that used to get deduction. It's no longer allowed. So in lieu of those changes, government has reduced the tax slab. So this is the present tax slab and this is the basis of the presentation. So for the salaried person, let's say what a salaried person should expect. D of 75,000. If a salaried person is investing in national pension scheme, 50K would be a deduction. Leave encashment. And if a salaried person is putting in provident fund and he decides to withdraw, so after 5 years, any amount of withdrawal would be taxed. Suppose some family, a young person whose father is receiving a pension, right? And he has died and that pension is continued. So that pension is free till 25K. Lump sum, if you are receiving a lump sum pension from a government, that is also tax free. Conveyance expenses, a salaried person can show some conveyance expenses like bus, petrol, everything. That amount is deductible. Professional, many of us are pure professional. So only major way out is show expense. The standard deduction still applies 75K, but otherwise major way out is expense. You may hire assistant, show assistant fee. Here I would like to, touch some gray areas. Many people do that. Suppose if you need one assistant, you can hire two or one more assistants, pay them in white and get them from in cash. That is what you can do. Another interesting point is that interest on home loan for a rent out property. Please understand properly that this is not primary home that you are living. Suppose you have another house which you have bought on loan and you have rent it out. So the table says that if a rental income is 2 lakh and interest is 1.50, so you are standing at 50,000 of net gain. That would be non-taxable. That would be exempt. Only on a second house, not the primary you are living in. Employer, if you are an employer, just like Chandramohan, your contribution to NPS is exempt to 40%, 14% of the basic pay. Gift to parents, children and spouse is tax free. Just like kidney, you can give money also to the immediate relative, like your parents, your children, your spouse, you can give or take. So in hands of a recipient, this amount is tax free. To the next relative, like cousin or something, that is a shady area. Probably you have to prove or your CA would advise you properly. Otherwise, apart from this immediate relative, maximum you can receive or give gift is 50,000. That can be tax free. More than that, it would be taxable. Health insurance and premium paid for the employee or petrol and phone expenses of the employee for a hospital purpose would be tax free. Of course, depreciation of the assets like building, laser and everything would be counted. If you are running your hospital, you can buy the electronic items like AC, fridge, etc. would be tax free. And little trick you can also be played where you buy the AC on your hospital name and you can put it in your home. Car and laptop. You can buy your laptop on your hospital name. You can buy the car, laptop, everything on your hospital name. If you have a 2 or 3 source of income, you can create an HUF and channelize additional income to HUF. And member of HUF can contribute their personal income to HUF as a gift, avoiding taxation. So suppose your personal income is gradually going up, then create a HUF of your own and then gift some money to that HUF. So that to the lowest grade in that slab, you can give the gift and that would be tax free. Or you can route your income through parents. Majority of us, parents would be around more than 65, 70 with minimum income. So you can route your income through the parents. So if you are receiving a taxable income of let's say 1 lakh, gift it to parents who would probably in the no tax bracket. So who can invest that into a higher return scheme and that by will or nomination would eventually come back to you. And remember that also that inheritance also would be tax free. Any amount of inheritance that you receive would be tax free from immediate relatives, father, mother, brother, sister. Same thing can be done with the children. And these are some faults which needs to be avoided because majority of us are not very finance savvy or tax savvy. We don't know majority of the rules also. So whenever your income goes up, CA will tell कि साहब आपका तो बढ़ रहा है, आप नया Mercedes ले लो, नया BMW ले लो. Please remember that you are spending your 74% of corpus, right, in a depreciating asset to save 30% of it. So if at all your requirement says, then only do it. Don't do it for the sake of saving tax. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes some shady CAs advise you to check entry. Check entry दे दो और ये हो जाएगा. Never go into that because it will invite scrutiny and scrutiny is the last thing that you want on your mind. Now the elephant in the room. Some few points on black money. I think that now majority of us does not have any avenue to earn black money. But if someone has black money, you can, put it in real estate, gold biscuit, jewelry. Remember that 2 lakhs is the maximum that you can pay by cash to a jeweler. Land is a sinkhole where any amount of black income can be adjusted. Government has markedly reduced where you can spend the black money. Because even if you are having spending, there are only land and very few opportunities where you can, spend black money. And farming, as Amit has said, is one of the opportunities. Where if you are in Gujarat, you have to be originally farmer to buy a farmland. Otherwise, you cannot buy. I don't know about the other states, but if by luck, by chance, if you are a farmer, that would be a great boon to channelize some of your taxable income into farm, and that way you can save it. Thank
All
you.
right, good. Thank you. Thank you, Jignesh. Thank you, Jignesh.
Yeah, but suppose if you have gone out, you see, it depends. Suppose for a professional, sometimes the income is up and down. But I would like to add this. Because when you file for TDS, the hospital files that it's only your salary and 10%. They cannot that. You can do that. Option is there. If your salary, you can have you can fill it 20%. But then provision of 20% for the deposit. In the organization fee that you have for in fee, income tax. They are allowed to charge 20%. Because I have never heard anything more than 10%. I have never heard anything. By default. Because it's in the software, no? So you only some private sector. Okay. Can be that on a quarter. 30%. Okay. Yes, we are saying that. Straight away 30%. It's not a, it's a compulsory.
Okay, I think we'll stop at that point. So, Abhishek. No, but I think you are making simple things complicated. Now, tax is not simple thing to make complicated. You have to make complicated things simple. Why are you, if you don't have money, if you are telling them to cut TDS, you put it in your bank and then put it at the end. As good as you are not having that income. What is the logic of telling somebody to cut more? Instead, you only keep it. You keep it for that. You can enjoy the tax with the interest on that amount. TDS is compulsory by government. But additionally, you are making it complicated.
TDS because government wants money early.
So I think let us stop this. We'll have one full session on tax thing in Eurofinance. So all this, how much 20%, 30% and this will be discussed there. Alright. So now we go for the next last talk on this session. Happy Money and Urology Practice. Ajay Bhandarkar. Bhandarkar is very happy. He has paid everything. He has learned everything. And now he is telling us how to do that.
If you want to become more happy, come to Eurofinance Con. Please, can I have my talk? Once again, good afternoon. The money is something which nobody wants to talk about, but when you talk about it, there are varied opinions and different emotions attached to the money. Like, if somebody will say that the money cannot buy you happiness, but immediately somebody said that but it can create avenues which can make you happy. And opposite to that is that absence of money can create unhappiness for sure. So money is something which we have been talking about for last 1.5 days. But what is happy money? I would like to talk about that. How do you define happy money? Happy money is something where the receiver and giver both are happy. Because if you want to transact or give your services, like you have done a good whole life for a RIRS, and patient is happy and whatever money is giving you out of happiness, you have created, you have given him a good service, and that is what the happy money associated with the urological practice I am going to talk about. So there has to be unhappy, which Abhishek and Jignesh was talking 5 minutes back, that whatever tax you have to pay, so definitely we don't get the return, so it becomes an unhappy money for the government. At the same time, some employer or the salary which he doesn't deserve, but if you have to give to a salary, or you are receiving a salary for not doing a work, it is supposed to be a unhappy money, which is associated with a lot of negative emotions like anger or sadness or despair. So this is how the happy and unhappy money is described. So you know the goddess here, everybody knows. I don't have to tell, this is Lakshmi Ji, but what is this bird doing next to Lakshmi Ji? Rohit, this is owl, it is considered a bad omen, but it is not. It is the bird which is always alert, working when nobody is working. And anybody has seen it flying? It flies without making a noise. So these are the qualities. If you have, Lakshmi Ji will be at your home. So you want to have that quality, to have a Lakshmi Ji at your home. Even the Krishna had a lavish Dwarka. So he was not renouncing wealth in the mythology, but he suggested the balanced lifestyle, and he believed in karma yoga and bhakti yoga. And I don't want to go into the details because this is going to be idealistic talk, but I believe in this idealistic. And somebody may say that I don't believe by mythology. The reality, Socrates and the Stoics, they were there on this earth. Socrates was 400 years BC, before Christ. And the Stoics were around 1st century AD, like Epictetus, Seneca. They have spread a lot of wisdom. So 2500 years back also, people were saying that key to happy life is attending to the soul. Soul is nothing but your thoughts, your mind, and your beliefs. So if you believe in that, material wealth is value neutral. The money itself is not good or bad. The person or using money is good or bad. In paying excessive attention to the money and possessions while neglecting the state of your character is a grave mistake. This is what 2500 years back people are saying. Why talk about foreigners? Our Indian sages have said, कहे हाथ का मैल धन ऋषि मुनि गुणवान घटता बढ़ता धन सदा कर्म प्रथम भगवान पास यदि है ज्ञान धन पढ़े सभी जन आप वृद्धि ज्ञान की कीजिए रहे सदा निष्पाप. So this is what the summary is all, that if you do a good karma, if you accumulate a lot of jnana, knowledge, like in the urology, if you update yourself, I think the Lakshmi Ji will follow. Kabir said that Kabir जोदन सुनची है जो आगे को होए शीश चढ़ाए पोटली ले जात न देखा कोई. So you create a wealth which goes with you, and nobody takes the wealth, material wealth, along with them after the life. But you need a wealth. Why do you need money? Current scenario, these are the reasons people need money. Pramod, I will agree that you have to maintain a basic standard of living, but what is your basic standard of living? It is variable. Somebody will say that I need a 2-bedroom flat or I need a 4-bedroom villa. So the basic standard is different. But as a urologist, there should never be a worry for food on table. That is the basic requirement. Or the roof on the top. So these are not going to be our worries. So as a professional, this is the only reason you need to maintain a good basic standard of living. Rest all other advantages of money, like if you get a lot of power with money, it's not always true. If you want to get back to others, like in the social media and see and compare that this fellow has got this car, I want to this car, it's not a good thing to have. If you think that you will find more freedom if I have 5 crores in my bank balance, no. It is the mindset which makes you free. If you gain love and appreciation with money, I'm sorry, it is not like that. You can express love and appreciation only with money. That is also not true. So why do you want money? You need a basic standard of life. Money is not about receiving, spending also. You happy money spent for happy experiences, like West Zone takes you to a Greece trip, everybody had a good trip, so enjoy it. So these are the experiences you want to buy with a happy money, so that it creates memories. Make it a treat. Somebody in the morning was saying that life is a celebration. So whatever you do, you celebrate in a mindset that even if you have a dinner with the family, you celebrate. So that is what the happy money is used. You buy time. You buy time for your dear ones. You buy time for your grandchildren. Now I'm talking about the grandchildren. So that is a luxury of a happy money. Forget about the American culture of credit card that you consume today and pay tomorrow. You buy today and then consume later. And invest in others, like invest in relationships, invest in your friendships. That is going to be more creating happy money and use of happy money. All this knowledge is not mine. These are the reference books which I have read, and from there, these are, if you have time and affinity to read, you can refer to these two books. The biggest game on the earth is a career game. We have been raising our children saying that तू पढ़ाई करेगा तो तू ऐसा आगे बढ़ेगा, तेरा career अच्छा होगा. You want to, so that is the biggest game you want to play with the money. But Kandav Parikh only knows what the price you have to pay to earn the status and the money in the career. So that somebody has to really assess that when stakes are high, status and money, the career, it is not. It is only the happiness. Stoics also recommend that you can pursue well in money, play the game, as long as it doesn't sacrifice your values. And most important thing is peace of your mind. So what is more important than the money? In our profession, if you say receiving money, so we have been discussing it for 1.5 days, that what is the minimum charge? It is your inherent value. My inherent value of doing a good prostate by a laser may be 1 lakh rupees. But even if a non-affording patient pays me 25,000 rupees, I may do some case in a 25,000 rupees. That creates a happy money. Like Sanjay Kulkarni always says that he is a modern Robin Hood. That he will do a urethroplasty for 5 lakhs, he will do urethroplasty for 25,000 rupees. So all that receiving money with a good positive intention makes you create more and more happy money. You must know how to enjoy the money. Zen moment is that remaining present. Even if you have gone to Shimla or a Himalaya and thinking about the ureteroscopy, it is not a Zen moment. Trusting money flow is very important for a private practitioner. You always feel insecure about that today ये महीना तो निकल गया, अगले महीने कितना income होगा. But if you have a self-confidence, everywhere you will definitely earn a good amount of money. And sharing generously for a people who are working for you. You may not donate money freely to an organization, but somebody who is working, your driver, your cook, your staff, increase their salary if you are earning enough money. So that creates more happiness. This is a French philosopher and lawyer who said that if you only wanted to be happy, it is not difficult. But you wanted to be happier than the other person, it is always difficult. This is 250 years back quote. The most important thing is that the general mindset about money, two negative things. Not enough. That is, whatever I am earning is not enough. 5 lakhs per month is not enough because somebody is earning 10 lakhs. If I am earning 25 lakhs per month, there is always somebody will be earning 50 lakhs per month. That kind of a negative mindset is not enough. Again, it's not fair. You always complain. It's not fair that why am I not earning? Don't be judgmental. Whatever your capacity, your capabilities, your skill you are earning, that is also good enough. Whatever amount of money. We are here with the market gurus. Charlie Munger was one of the best gurus. And he said that the first rule of life, happy life, is low expectation. If you have unrealistic expectation, you are going to be miserable whole your life. And you want to be reasonably have expectations and make life's results good or bad as they happen, accept it with the stoicism. Path to financial freedom, I'll just say that you should be ready to lose. Entrepreneurs are ready to lose lakhs of rupees before they earn 10 lakhs. So you should be, to attract money, you should be ready to lose money also. You become a likable person. So it will attract the money. Pricing your service accordingly is also one of the way of financial freedom. Don't save money out of anxiety. I have to have this thing. That is what is not advisable. And the two Japanese words, arigato and maro. Arigato is gratefulness, and maro is having a kind heart, which is more important. All these negative emotions you must avoid while earning money. Financial wisdom. P.P. Rao has highest money IQ. I have never seen Pramod Rai has highest money IQ. Sabnis has highest money EQ, emotional quotient. So somebody like you can make out from his comments and the way of life. So you don't be like this person who had once the king of the retail of India and have lost everything to his debt. So you have to have a good money IQ as well as money EQ. This quote I have got in one of the WhatsApp group by Vijay Kedia, who is a very wise investor. He says that chase the story behind the stock, not the money on the table. Because the money will make you rich, but the story will make you healthy. So the same fellow said that investment philosophy, that invest like a bull, sit like a bear, and watch like a tiger. Thank you. Enjoy.
Okay. I would like to thank all the speakers for sharing their pearls of wisdom, and with this we will be concluding our session.
Thank you, moderators, for the session.